Welcome, everyone. This is Virginia Parsons, your Hangout mentor and the host of the Inspirational Business Women show, where you know it is my passion and my purpose to provide you, the entrepreneur, with a gold mine of inspirational tips and strategies and advice from inspirational businesswomen in the know. And I have just such a woman here with us today, Margherita, Crystal Lotus. I will be introducing you to her in just a moment. She has some wonderful tips and strategies for you. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. I really value you as our viewers, that you're taking the time to be here with us, either live or in replay mode. Both mean a lot to myself, and I really appreciate you coming. So let us know where you're hanging out from, would you? I'd like to hear from you. We love to make this a collaboration and a way for inspirational businessmen and women, of course, to get together, to collaborate and support, uplift, and inspire one another. And that starts with you getting involved right here on the show. So whether or not you're watching live or in replay mode, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your comments and what you're gaining from the great content that I aspire to bring to you each and every week. Now, today's show, like always, is sponsored by hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a free Hangout marketing assessment. Have you done that yet? Some of you have been watching me for months and months and still haven't taken the assessment. And it's a great tool for you. It will only take a few minutes, and it's going to measure your knowledge base and skill set, and using Hangouts on Air and all these other live stream platforms we're all now embracing, and discover how you can use these platforms to brand, grow, and market your business. So I'm here to support you in that. You might even qualify for a free strategy session where we really sit down, get into the nitty-gritty of your business and how you can expand it and grow it using these great broadcasting tools. So how do you get that assessment? It's easy. All you have to do is text the word success, SUCCESS, to 307-269-2040. Or for you that are out of the country, you can also just go to hangout-marketing.com. Take the assessment there. Either way, it'll only take you a couple minutes. So thank you for doing that. Now, I'd also love it if you would share this program with other people you think might benefit. We're talking about, I think, some really important topics that it's great to bring up this time of year as we approach the holidays and we rethink and recenter and re-energize ourselves for the new year. These processes that Margherita is going to share with us are going to be beneficial to you now and going forward. So without further ado, let me introduce her by bringing in my little introductory slide here. She is Margherita, and she's added the name Crystal Lotus. I'll let her explain that to you. She is an author, and she's in the process of just completing another book she'll tell you about. She is an intuitive healer, and she is the founder of the Crystal Lotus, and I'll let her explain what that means. Now, we're going to talk about growing a heart-centered business today. And isn't that really what we all want? Especially we women entrepreneurs, you know, if we can't make that heart connection in our business, we do not feel the same sense of satisfaction. Now, that also goes for men, but we just really think it really focuses in on the natural instinct of women to want to work from a heart-centered space. So we're going to talk about that in detail. We're also going to discuss healing methods for conscious awareness. So if you are feeling like you're struggling, out of balance, out of tune, Margherita, I keep wanting to say Crystal, is going to help get you in tune. And one of the things she's going to use for that, and I have mine here today, is my crystal. So if you have crystals, you like crystals, grab it. We're going to use that today. Also, we'll talk about facing fear. How can you reset your mind for success? Does fear interfere with you being your best? We're going to talk about that. Finally, about growing your business with spiritual integrity. being the authentic you that you were meant to be. So we've got such great information coming your way. Crystal, go ahead, unmute yourself, come on and say hi to our audience.
Hello and welcome.
I'm so thrilled to have you here. You know, several weeks ago, I was on your show with Heidi. I had a great time with you. We had a wonderful discussion about Hangouts on air, didn't we, in this live streaming broadcast that we all love so much. So I'm so thrilled I've had the opportunity to turn the tables on you here today and learn about your expertise, because I just feel that it's so important to get out of your own way to be the best you can be. And you really have a path that you can take people on to do that. But before we go there, I really like people to know where you came from. You have a very interesting background that has nothing to do with crystals or intuition, and I'd love for you to share that with our audience. Go ahead.
Yes, I was born in Sweden to an academic family, and I trained as a mathematician or a chemist with mathematical studies in the university. And then I got hired by a company as a environmental or toxicology expert for actually the products they had. They needed to have this product descriptions and have somebody who had knowledge in chemistry. And so I worked in that company for 11 years. I started there as that expert, and I exited as a marketing supervisor, had my 3 sales divisions, sales departments under my belt. And then I went to Canada. And that's because my ex-husband and I, we decided we're going to go to Americas, and we got an option to come to Canada, and we took it. And that's how I came to Canada. So I live in Kingston, Ontario. I discovered the healing part of me when during the time when we had difficulties in our marriage and emotions comes up. It's very, very difficult. And also moving to a new country doesn't help, because it's a completely new mindset. You have to actually unplug what you learned from childhood, and when you come to a new country. Even the coffee didn't taste the same. I just got flat out. And that started my healing journey, to deal with my emotional baggage, because, you know, scientific brain is in the side here. It handles everything. Everything is going to be known. But if you suppress this side of the brain, it's going to come up sooner or later. So there I had it. So I went on my healing journey. And you can also do your healing journey. You're probably on your healing journey if you're an entrepreneur and wanting to start a business like I was. So does that explain it?
That's a good start. So from toxicology research, totally left brain, not at all tapping into your creative, intuitive self, which, you know, now that you're totally working from that side of your brain as an intuitive, as a healer, as an author, as an artist, you've just brought you basically flipped, haven't you? Almost 180 degrees.
Oh, definitely. But I see it as an integration, because if you're only in your right brain, then you can't have a sustainable business. You have to integrate both parts and know that this thing in here, both of this one and this side, needs to be integrated and then brought down to the heart. And so that's why I always have my little beautiful rose quartz heart with me on my desk, and to remember, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to serve. I'm doing this to help other people with what I have learned from my own experience. And I have a number of clients that, you know, I coach, mentor, whatever they want in their business, or to overcome these sticky emotional reactions. And I found some methods that we could use. So You asked me what my name came from, Crystal Lotus. There is an author, Melody, who wrote the Love is in the Earth. It's the handbook for the crystal realm, and she's sold tons of books. And so she thanked me in her latest book, and she didn't know my last name, so she said, Margherita, Crystal Lotus. So then I used that name as my web name. So that's where it comes from.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, you moved from Sweden to Canada to a whole different culture. That takes, takes a big, brave, adventuresome spirit in order to do that. I'm hanging out, just so those of you who aren't sure, I'm hanging out from Reno, Nevada. Hey, Cindy Harley, we've got here from Fall Church, Virginia. The rest of you coming on, please let us know where you're hanging out from. We love the fact that this show is international, that it touches people around the world with a multitude of cultures. And yes, in learning a new culture, you have to unlearn some things, or at least set them aside and relearn some other things. So you were able to do that. And so you were able to teach what you learned. And I think this is an important point for all of we entrepreneurs who are out there changing the world with our passions, is that you teach what you learn. And the more you learn, the more you can teach. The more you learn, the more you can share. The more you learn, the more you can uplift other people with your experiences. So it's good to examine what you've experienced in life and just explore, what is it from this experience, especially if it's a challenging experience, that I can provide some form of service, inspiration, or means of uplifting other people. And it looks like that's exactly what you have done, Margherita, Crystal Lotus, coming from a toxicology research background to Canada and a whole different way of being in the world. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's very rewarding. Shall I put my earbuds on? I think I hear an echo there. I'll do that. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Let's talk a bit, while she's done that, let's talk a little bit about where we're going with this. She has some healing methods that she's going to share with us in the short time that we have on conscious awareness. And I think that that's where it starts, isn't it, Margherita, where you have an awareness of where you're at and where you want to shift, and you have some methods for taking us there. So go ahead and share those with everyone.
Yes. So what I discovered is that unless you become aware of that you have something inside of you, it could be a trigger, it could be like a pattern, it's sitting somewhere in you, and that pattern attracts all these negativities, the bad boyfriends, and bad job offers, and lousy abundance patterns, right? And if you can discover where these things are and are aware that it is in you that these patterns is that you attract, right? If you change that, if you actually change that belief, it's not that easy, but if you are beginning to be aware of, oh yeah, I have this pattern within me, then because you have created it from the beginning, right? You adopted it as an experience in your youth, and then you believed that you weren't good. If somebody said to you, oh, you can't do that kind of thing, then maybe you believe that you couldn't. And these are the kind of things I work with my clients, because if the trauma is very big, then we have to create sort of a container for that to be handled in. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I am a healer. And that's what I say to everyone. And when they say that, when we work together and I say, okay, how does that feel? And where is it? How does that feel? where is it? Those two questions can guide you to right now to see where that program, the subconscious program, is residing, because it's stored somewhere in our body.
Yeah, it's an energetic pattern, isn't it? And a belief that someone has been carrying, generally these beliefs are established since youth, probably before the age of 6, and there's something they've carried with them, whether or not it's true. Could be totally a misperception, but it's true for them because they've been believing it, thinking it, responding to that belief in the same pattern for years, decades, lifetimes. And so what you're saying is, first you have to discover where that energetic pattern of that belief exists, because it is someplace inside you. Energetically, you've stuffed it there, so they say. And that's the first step, isn't it, in gaining awareness of where it is and how it feels to you, so that you can then help transform it. Am I on track?
You are on track. And then that's so number one step here is to become aware. And sometimes it's not so easy to become aware. We could become aware by not watching too much TV. We can become aware by taking calm walks outside. We can engage in some guided meditation, something like that, or moving your body in a beneficial ways, like yoga or something like that. And so to waken up a little bit and become aware, and not thinking that everybody's going to fix you, or that something else is going to fix you, or this is going to do it for me. No, you have to actually become aware, really become aware yourself. And then that's the moment when you have the ability and being ready to start your own healing journey consciously. So
what I'm getting from this, and I like to sort of paraphrase what I get, because I think it helps to push the point a little deeper for people. And here's what I'm picking up from you, Margherita, is that in becoming aware, you have to really dampen down all the energies that are coming at us from outside stimulus. And you mentioned TV as one of them. The point being, you need to go into a space where you're quiet enough, calm enough, there's not so much outside stimulus going on, so that you can become aware of an internal stimulus. Then you can then say, oh, I don't think this is a feeling or an attitude or a sensation I want to maintain if I want to move to the next level of awareness, as you say, conscious awareness, and then start to transform it into a whole different mindset. Got it?
Yes, that's correct. And we say mindset, right? When you say the word set, you have, okay, so you can see it as a knitting pattern. So if you have knitting needles and you're knitting, you're following the pattern, right? So that you're going to do the knitting pattern, and then you follow the pattern, it's going to be this sweater, right? If you follow it. And that's how mind does it. If you have that pattern inside, it's going to happen that way over and over and over and over again. So we really need to, pull the thread and undo that knitting process and pull that thread out and say, my goodness, I have, this piece of knitting that I already done that's full with suffering, pain, agony, horrorful experiences, and woundedness. So we can undo that. We can undo that by ripping that up. Take that thread, and then we can take that thread.
Analogy. I think that analogy is brilliant. I've never heard that analogy before, but it's almost like taking off an old coat or an old sweater then that you've been wearing for a long time, but you take it a step further and saying, hey, we're just pulling that thread out if you're thinking about knitting. So let's move into the second topic, which is about facing your fear in a way that will shift your mindset, because I think that's what you're talking about. We're changing the mindset. We're unthreading the knitting pattern. And how do people move to that stage where they really can face that fear to move into a whole new mindset?
Well, you think about you have that heavy sweater on, and then now you pull the threads, and then the sweater or this thick cover is revealing what's inside. And then you may be prepared for the feelings that you had when that pattern had been created. And then you might ask for help. You might go through that process with somebody you trust, or a friend, or a therapist. But it's possible to change it. And when we have removed all those sweaters around us by pulling the threads, you're doing it. You're retreading it. And so you're in command. And that's the key here. It's not like somebody else is going to cure you. You can do it by yourself. And this is what I did. This is what I did. And I discovered the whole blueprint for healing is to come into the heart eventually. And then the interest of chakras and energy body also is part of that equation.
All right, so that's bringing us into having a heart-centered business, but you can't move into a heart-centered business authentically, in my opinion, without facing your own fears. And as you say, taking that sweater off and revealing your true self and those true feelings that have really been sabotaging your success to be the heart-centered entrepreneur that you want to be. Now, how can we use crystals to help with facing the fear and changing the mindset so that you can move into greater authenticity?
Oh, well, I have a beautiful citrine crystal here. It's a cathedral. And this is very useful for clearing stuff. So I brought this one, and it's a little bigger so people can see it. And so what I see a crystal is, it's like a tuning fork. It has a structure that is steady frequency all the time. And this particular crystal is probably 600 million years old, and it's maintained that frequency all this time. And so I can hold it and feel into it. It's like a tuning fork, like a piano tuner tunes the piano and the strings with this tone. It should be this tone. And you listen to it, and then he's adjusting the strings. Same with the frequency band in a crystal. It's a tuning fork. So when you work with a tuning fork, then we can adopt, okay, I have to adjust a little bit. I was out of tune here. Now I can use the crystal to actually tune my body and whatever the chakras are also.
Well, I think this requires a great amount of awareness. I mean, I have my crystal here, which I showed you earlier, that I've had for many, many, many a year. And it's a great, for me, a meditative device. And it helps me get focused faster and go a little deeper into my quiet times. But if someone's never used a crystal, what would be the first thing that you would suggest they do with it?
Love it. Feel it and sit with it. Hold it in front of your heart and notice what's going on in your body, because you hold it here and then you tune into it. You look at it, you feel it, but even holding your hands around it, and you might feel that your hands heat up. Even if it doesn't, work with it for a little while, and then you'll notice for some crystals, this is a very powerful crystal. I can feel it right in my belly and all the way up to here, all in my feet. You know, if you never had tingling in your feet, or you hadn't have an awareness of where your body is, because that's how many people have it. They don't pay attention to their body. But it helps us when we say, okay, where do you feel this crystal? It's like, do you feel something in your body? And then you put attention to what's going on there. And that's the first step to be more aware. And then you can work with it further by actually letting it amplify. It's like a lens. So it amplifies. If there is a pain somewhere, it can become bigger so that you can discover it. And so when you discovered, I have a pain here, what's that about? Then you can look at it and see what it is. And this is what crystals do. It's not like something hocus pocus. It's an amplifying tool. I mean, how they were created and stuff like that, it's a different thing. But this is the oldest healing tool we have on this planet. There is nothing older than that. It's the original healing tool. And there was, in one of those caves in France, I think, the archaeologists found a crystal collections inside there from the Stone Age people. So I'm sure that they took benefit of this too.
Well, they didn't have TVs to distract them either. So they had the opportunity to get quiet enough to increase their awareness level. And then, as you say, in just holding this, what you're doing is giving people an opportunity to tune in at an even more profound level, because it amplifies the feelings inside the body, as you say, as a tuning fork. So not only, I would think, can you discover things within your body, and which I say contains your spirit, things there that are out of tune, as you would say, out of good frequency, out of sorts, as people say. You can discover that so that you can address it. But also, I would assume that in this last topic about discovering your spiritual integrity in a heart-centered business, that you can also amplify the way you feel and the way you project yourself in your work by using a tool like this as well. So it's not just for discovering the problem areas, but for also amplifying those things that you're passionate and spirit-driven about. Am I on tune?
Oh yeah, you are. And I don't know, I have in my book, I have 50 different practices of how you can do that. So if somebody is interested.
Well, now we have only a few more minutes before we're going to go over to the Blab after show, where we're going to go deeper into this good stuff. So I hope that you'll join us over there. But talk for a moment about the new book that you're writing, and also tell people about the name of the book you have, although I guess that's almost unavailable anymore.
No, it's I just sold it to my distributor, so they have the last palette of my books, and then we can print some new one. It's called the Crystal Lotus Handbook, and it looks like that with the lotus, the blue here. And the new book I'm working on is a chakra coloring book. It's called When Heart Touches Matter, adult coloring book. It's a rainbow journey through the chakras, and I have some templates here. There's many templates inside of that book, and it's also a course in a book about your chakras. So you learn about the chakras, and then you color them in, and then you can go on this journey, this healing journey through your chakras, and also get audio files and imagery on another site that's linked with the book. So it is actually a real introductory course to learning about your energy body and your chakras by coloring in beautiful pictures.
I think that's just brilliant. I don't know if anyone else has done anything like that. And I know you're in the process of getting that published. I don't think it's probably available for Christmas, or is it? Maybe.
Maybe. Yes, it's possible. Yes.
Well, if you want more information on that, you can go to Margherita's website, thecrystallotus.com, and get more information. I love it because it is a form of meditation when you're coloring. And now all of a sudden, adult coloring books are in. Do you believe it?
I never believe it.
The thing. But here you are an artist as well. So you've taken your artistic nature, you've taken your intuitive nature, you've created these beautiful patterns for people to color. And it almost reminds me of how mesmerized you can be with a kaleidoscope. It looks like you've made it sort of a kaleidoscopic drawing for people to bring in brilliant colors. And my final suggestion on this, because we do have to say goodbye and move to Blab, but is that it seems to me that the colors that people choose working with the chakra will have something to do with what they need to do to adjust their energy on that chakra. Am I on to this or not?
Yes, you are so dead on. And so I suggest that anyone who wants to have this book, they can color their own images so that they can work through inside of them. You color out on the page your issues, and then you can see it and you hold it up, and then you engage with it in an incredibly simple way.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. What I've just done while you were speaking, Margherita, is I've posted the link to the Blab After Show. Do you want to come and talk to Margherita about this a little bit more? Do you want to learn a little bit more about how to balance your own life, how to raise your vibration, how to step into your power as a heart-centered businesswoman? We've got it going on over at Blab. So please come on over to the Blab After Show. Hang out with us over there, or blab out, whatever you want to call it, and come in and say hi to Margherita and myself. We would love to see you over there. So I'm going to say goodbye till now, and next week we'll see you on the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Margherita. You were absolutely a delightful guest and so much to share. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Take care now.